Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and today we're taking a look at Interloper. Now this is an indie RTS game, and it was pitched to me as a sort of fast-paced RTS game, but with a lot of stripped-out elements, so it leads to very fast gameplay. And I'm inclined to agree with that. So, the basic premise of it is, you are alien sea creatures of some description, and you are one of three factions. And how it's played is on a top-down 2D map with one other player. So essentially it's a 1v1 for the most part, as far as I can tell. Just quick thing about the settings, there isn't much in terms of graphics options. It's a 2D game, so yeah. But it does have this very nice hand-painted style to it, which I quite like. One thing that I didn't like at the beginning was that it asked you to pick a tribe. Now, this is this option at the beginning when the game first begins, and without knowing what any of these things do, it's a little bit tricky for any player to come into and straight away go, yeah, you know, I'll pick this one or this one. So I picked the first one on the left. But no idea what it meant. As far as I can tell, it just affects your color. But I can see that in multiplayer matchmaking that might be an issue if everybody picks the same color. Maybe. But we'll see. So we're just going to jump into a single player match here and go into a skirmish. There is a campaign mode as well, but we're just going to jump straight into skirmish just so you can see the basic elements of it. And here in the window you can see a little preview of the map as it is, with two AI players sort of battling it out there. There are a bunch of different maps available, 11 in total for skirmish. I believe there might be some more later on, but at launch this is a pretty decent selection already, and the maps get very, very complicated as we go along. So we're just going to jump into the smallest map so you can have a basic idea of what it's like. Alright, so this is the map here, and first off I want to say the game has a very minimalist UI, which I like a lot. There is a small little mini-map here, but I think it's kind of pointless, because the map itself fits within one screen for the most part. Unless you get to the bigger maps, in which case, yeah, that might be an issue. So, here we are. I'm the one on the top left, the opponent is in the bottom right, and you can see there are some slight differences between the shape of the actual creatures. So, how it's played is you left click to select things, and you can drag box to select as well, and we right click. So the Sentinel is our main unit. We only get one, and it can't be killed, which is quite nice. So it has this sort of Splatoon style kind of territory system about it. We construct these light bulb looking things, which are a source of power and resource. And that powers these here, and you can see these faint lines drawing connections between them. These are our unit productions, and we don't control them directly, they just produce units depending on what is available, so that the more power we have connected, the faster they will build. Now I'm going to steal this one off the enemy right here, so that we have even more power going to them, and you can see it shares the resources across the board and just boosts the production to an even higher level. Try and get an early advantage here by taking over one of his resource productions, and I don't think we can do that. Also, by moving through their territory, you can actually cut off supply to their unit production. So the units themselves have this sort of style to them. They have two functions. They can be used to block the path of the Sentinel, and they can also be used to attack. Now, when you're outside of your own territory, that is your own color, they tend to lose the ability to attack. Or they die very quickly, is what I mean. So here you can see the Sentinel path is blocked. I can block him here as well, and we can move to block this one here as well. But units can attack each other, so if I want to go through and attack this guy, I might be able to do that as well. So unit damage is basically a 1-to-1, and we are pretty close to winning this, so there we go, it starts pulsing. Now, we seem to have won something. I believe this is a trophy or a cosmetic item of some sort. I'm going to check that out in a second. I'm not entirely sure what that is, to be perfectly honest. But you can see just then, that is the entire match. And there is a replay system, so we can actually have a look at our own replays. This is from another match earlier on, so we can actually play that. And it has an upload function as well. So we can see how long each match takes. It's really only a couple of minutes, so this is a very good sort of fast game to play. If you only have a few minutes to, or, you know, half an hour or so to play, you can get a few rounds of this in very, very quickly. But there is a decent amount of strategy to this, because your unit management comes down to basically two different types of units, and the way that you use them becomes even more important. And of course, you can see here, getting an early lead can lead to a very quick victory, because as he's trying to capture that unit production over there, we take over his power. He has to react to that, so we got him on the back foot already. So there's a lot of strategy to it. It's a very deceptively simple game, and I really like the art style. It has this sort of hand-painted look to it that is quite nice to actually look at. I mean, admittedly, everything sort of looks like tadpoles, but even then, they're very nicely painted tadpoles. Sound design is not bad for the most part. Units getting destroyed sound like glass breaking. Not entirely sure why, but the music in the background is very atmospheric and very, very nice to listen to. It's a sort of electronic, trancey sort of music going on, and it has a sort of very I'd like to say very relaxed atmosphere to it, for something that is quite a competitive game from the looks of it, really. Alright, so we're going to jump out of that, and we're going to have one more game on a completely different map that I've not played before. So let's try this one. So this is a bigger map. In fact, we could actually switch tribes. I don't think there's any penalty for doing that. Let's switch over to this one, where it's very purple. And I've broken the game. There is a missing texture here, somehow. I seem to have broken the game. Let's hope that the actual game itself isn't affected by it. No, it doesn't appear to be. Alright, so everything is much further away now because this is a much bigger map, so the mini-map might become a bit more of a use in this case. So let's begin. So of course, map control is the name of the game really, and trying to keep control of particular areas is quite beneficial to us. I'm wondering if this is a neutral unit that we can capture here. Yes it is. It is actually a neutral unit, so I can use that to defend this area here. But one thing that I have noticed while playing this is that this game has the bare essentials of basically any RTS. And I'm not an RTS veteran, so of course those who are might be screaming at me for saying that now. But for the most part, it has the basic elements really boiled down to what is its bare essentials. So we've got map control, we have resource management, or at least a little bit of it, and we have a form of... I might get myself trapped in this case. Yep, I'm trapped. And we have a form of... we have micromanagement. A lot of micromanagement, in fact. Okay, I might have to pull these guys over here. Will they make it? Here we go. I'm not sure what happened to a sentinel there. It seems to have disappeared. Oh, I believe it's because I lost line of sight of it. That might be what happened there. Not entirely sure. Either way, he seems quite trapped here. That might not actually be a dead end. I thought that might have been. I don't think it is now. So we're going to go over to this side and try to capture this area here. But yeah, so it's a very relaxing game, but at the same time it has a kind of intense pace to it. But the whole atmosphere of it just gives off this really relaxed vibe while playing, which I quite like. So we've just lost power to a lot of our production facilities here, so we're going to try and restore that. He's got one over there at 3, a production of 3, so we're going to try. I believe that might actually be the maximum. But yes, he has cut off the supply to our productions right now, so that is a problem. Let's try and restore that back up to full again. So you can actually use the Sentinel in a very offensive manner by laying down territory that prevents their units from crossing. I see we have a different unit type on the field right now. Not entirely sure what that is. If I'm completely honest, I have no idea what it is. It seems to be a much stronger version of the standard unit. So that's kind of interesting. So we still only really have the same basic unit types, but that is also an upgrade that we can do. Okay, this could be a tricky fight. So right now it's kind of a very stale back and forth. Unfortunately, I'm not too good at this game. So this is a match that could go on for quite a while. But I think I'm going to leave this one here, because I think you get the basic gist of the game already. It's not too difficult to figure out, frankly. But yes, it's just one of those deceptively simple strategy games that is it's normally very quick, I guess. If you're up against particularly skilled players, it can be very, very fast-paced. But at the same time, it's also a sort of game that I think could be quite addictive. It's just got this relaxed atmosphere to it that is really just very nice to play. It doesn't feel like a very serious competitive game, even though it does have the basic elements to be one, in my opinion. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Panzer taking a look at Interloper. Now available on Steam for $12.50 or your regional equivalent currency. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.